6:04, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you, JP producing. Coming to you live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros, your business's IT partner. Starting you off at 60 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. And yes, you did hear that forecast right. Cool front running through overnight tonight into tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be one of those fun days where it doesn't get warmer all day long. Like it's going to start off in the low 50s and might creep up to 60, and the wind's going to whip through and knock it right back down to the mid-50s. I love that time. I love this time of year. We got a lot of ground to cover for you this morning. We have got, we're dialing in on the U.S. Senate race. We got a little more on the presidential search over at LSU. Government shutdown rolls on. We'll talk with Congressman Troy Carter before it's all said and done. With so much stacked up, let's just get right to it. Top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Attorney General Liz Murrell joined a coalition of 24 states in support of President Trump's birthright citizenship policy. In a press release, the AG said, "We filed a lawsuit on this same issue, which has currently been temporarily stayed pending the outcome of other litigation on this issue. We're happy to see this lawsuit move forward. I believe the United States Supreme Court needs to expeditiously resolve this issue."
Number 4.
Starting Saturday, people who receive SNAP benefits will not receive more money if the federal government remains closed. As a result, Louisiana lawmakers are trying to pull from state funds to ensure residents don't go hungry. Quote, "This is time is of the essence," State Representative Jack McFarland said. "That's our most vulnerable population. Nearly 800,000 people in Louisiana receive benefits from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program."
Number 3.
Governor Jeff Landry has called on LSU to be the first campus to put a Charlie Kirk statue on campus. The governor announced on social media after the This is the Turning Point tour at the River Center earlier Monday evening, where over 1,600 people attended the event.
Number 2.
Drivers in West Baton Rouge could soon see major changes along the Highway 1 and Highway 415 corridors. Department of Transportation and Development is designing a new route that will cross the Intracoastal Waterway and feature major intersections at Highway 1, Sunplus Parkway in the industrial area of Highway 1, and upgraded interchange improvements at Highway 415 and I-10.
Number 1.
Well, you heard in the traffic report there from Ray coming into the show, both sides of the Mississippi River Bridge were shut down last night into this morning for several hours. The closure started around 9:15 p.m. Traffic was being diverted to the old bridge. There was a stalled vehicle that initially caused the shutdown. The bridge did reopen, but clearing out the backlog is going to take a little time. What's trending?
Well, the second space race will pick back up next year. NASA has marked February 2026 as their window to pick a date to return to the moon.
4 people, 10-day trip. All right.
Yep. Here we go.
I know. 10 days, though. Like, if you're going all the way to the moon, stay 2 weeks. Like, at least make it 2 weeks, huh?
Make it 2 weeks.
You don't
10 days.
like. I just feel like it's not pretty key. You know, you're not going to 30A here.
I mean,
It's the moon,
right. Stay there a while.
The moon.
Pack a lunch.
Yeah. But on the flip side, though, it is hard to travel with people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Oh, man. In other news, President Trump's Asia tour continues, stopping off in Japan to sign off on a $500 billion trade deal.
$500 billion trade deal.
Yeah.
Involving all kinds of like rare earth and stuff like rare earth separation. Stuff that we actually made an economic development announcement in Louisiana for yesterday.
There we go. Yep.
But no, $500 billion. Okay. I'll take that.
Yeah,
That's a win. Let's go.
Absolutely. You know what else we'll take, Brian?
What?
Keeping it with President Trump, he is floating the idea of cutting Americans a tariff check.
Did you kind of like a dividend?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know how much it's going to be for, but this was one of the things that I was whining about when we're talking about the nation making money off tariffs. I'm like,
right.
Well, I'm not going to get anything. Well, maybe I will.
Maybe you will.
Maybe you will.
Maybe sooner than, Trump says that they're probably coming to millions of Americans and soon. So, I don't know.
One would have to believe that the first dollars, first checks being cut
Yeah.
would have to go to those whose lives are directly affected by this,
For
right?
sure.
Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, if you're making more money as a result of the tariffs, wait your turn.
That's right. That's right. Send us a little something, Trump. We'll take it.
We got a stacked up lineup for you today. Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics, going to join us at 6:35. Donnie Miller from the Ascension Parish Chambers got a lot to talk about. He'll hop on board at 7:15. State Representative Julie Emerson has thrown her hat in the ring to take on U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy in his runoff election next year. That adding to the number of folks in that race is getting big. Representative Emerson going to join us at 7:35. State Representative Paula Davis at 8:15. And Congressman Troy Carter, a little D.C. Current presented by LABI at 8:35. Before we take our first break, got to remind you about the folks over at Breck. Breck.org is their home base. Breck.org is where you will find them online. Love telling you about the Rapid Response Program. This is something that they've implemented that they're already seeing results on. Basically, we can help be the eyes and ears for Breck as you make your way around the parish. If you're enjoying some of the Breck facilities that are out there, I'm a big proponent of the Highland Road Park. It's kind of my favorite place around. But if you see something wrong, they have set up a number for you to let them know about it. If you go to Breck.org, you can get all the details on the Rapid Response Ticket Program. And with so many properties and so many facilities, it's kind of difficult to be on top of all of the things all at once. This helps out. So visit Breck.org, learn how you can help out with their Rapid Response Ticketing System. Let them know when something's going wrong. Let me give you the phone number before I get you out of here and we break and come back with sports in just a minute. That phone number is area code 225, of course, 225-310-BREC, 225-310-2732 to take part or to help out with the Rapid Response Ticketing System.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that turning point event last night, man. It looked like it had a great turnout. But settle for a trunk or treat with the kids. I had a ticket. I had 2 tickets. Me and Jamie were gonna go, but
I completely forgot about it.
oh man, yeah,
I had it on my calendar and just forgot that it was there.
yeah. They had a live stream on I think it was called Rumble. I think I found a link that Allie Beth Stuckey had posted about. I was one of the speakers, but yeah, watched a little bit of it, a little bit of Governor Landry's speech, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, just completely forgot. Feel like a moron. 6:15, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Sometimes it takes a little something historical to reignite a fire. Talking about the World Series last night, 18-inning game. Longest game, and I believe it was the longest game in World Series history. Golly, I feel awful for Shohei Ohtani. If you can reach base 9 times in one game and still not be the hero, you're doing something. And that's exactly what Shohei Ohtani did last night. He was 4 for 4, 2 home runs within those 4 for 4, by the way, and walked 5 times. Every time Shohei Ohtani went up to the plate over the course of an 18-inning ball game last night, every time he stepped to the plate, he got on base. However, bottom of the 18th, leading off was Freddie Freeman, who became the hero very quickly.
Los Angeles. Freeman sends a fly ball to center field. Varsho's going back before the clock strikes midnight. Freddie Freeman has ended it. It's a repeat hero with the last word on a Game 3 classic.
I say became the hero very quickly. That was not quickly at all. The game ran just shy. I want to say it was 6.5 hours in time. 18 innings. They were scoreless. From the end of the 7th, nobody scored a run until the bottom of the 18th. That's just a ridiculous amount right there. Here's Freddie Freeman after the game talking about the winning home run.
Thanks, Joe. Freddie, walk-off grand slam, game 1 last year, walk-off in game 3 this year.
Yeah.
This was an epic game.
Yeah, I know.
What was it like to be a part of it?
Oh, my. It took a little long. This one took a little longer, but this game was incredible. Our bullpen was absolutely incredible, so thank you. Yeah, Will Klein, absolutely incredible.
So many heroes in this game. For you, when Kershaw came out of the bullpen in the 12th, bases loaded, what was that like?
That was awesome. His first pitch was 89, his slider. I was like, oh, baby, we got old vintage Clayton back. Coming to the biggest spot like that, no better person you want on the mound than Clayton Kershaw.
You thought you had one hit out earlier in this game. Were you sure about the one you hit out here?
I was not sure, just because of the other couple. My swings were getting better and better as the game was going on, so I'm just glad I was able to get the opportunity again.
What were your emotions like circling the bases?
Oh, my gosh. Just pure excitement. When you grind and fight, and our bullpen and our pitching staff did what they did, to have that go 6 hours and 40 minutes or so, that's as good as it gets.
Freddie, thanks a lot.
The Dodgers take a 2-1 lead in the World Series. They will play again tonight. You'll see it on Fox. Blue Jays and Dodgers. Game 4 tonight. I mentioned Shohei Ohtani going, reaching base all 9 times that he was at the plate. He'll take the bump tonight. So it'll be, I believe, Shane Bieber versus Shohei Ohtani is your pitching matchup. Meanwhile, moving over to the World Saints in the loss to the Bucks on Sunday, rookie quarterback Tyler Shuck came into the game late in the third quarter. He did throw for 128 yards. He did have an interception. Head coach Kellen Moore says, looking ahead, are we going to get more of a look at the rookie, or is it going to be back to Spencer Rattler? Where are we at for this weekend's game? Coach Moore does not yet know.
We just got done closing the book on this Tampa Bay game. We'll now begin starting here soon our plan of action for LA, and we'll make a decision shortly and just go down that path just so we can maximize as many reps and opportunities as we can moving forward.
So Rattler had a fumble and an interception in last week's game. That's after 4 picks the week before. So you've got a quarterback competition reopening just like we saw during the preseason. Rattler says his mentality is going to remain the same as it's been all season as the Saints prepare to take on the Rams this weekend.
Go at it the same way. It's part of the game. I've been through adversity before. I'm going to be a good teammate, have good body language, still be a leader. So I just got to show up to work, keep a smile on my face, keep working. But you can only control what you can. I've said that before. So I'm control what I can and keep attacking the same way.
Meanwhile, if you're Tyler Shuck, you do need to make an impression.
At the end of the day, we didn't score enough points, so it sucks. But, yeah, we'll look at it, and especially myself, and see how I can get better, and then we'll continue to grow as an offensive unit to try and get the job done.
We'll get you ready for the Saints versus Rams as the week wears on. Right now, we're coming up on 6:20 at Talk 107.3 FM, which means it's about time to check the Fox Business Report on the back end of that. I'll have a look at traffic, and then let's talk a little bit about this, not just the LSU head coaching job, but the overall coaching carousel. Our main problem right now is the old bridge. If you are crossing the river this morning, you want to go back to the new bridge, the I-10 bridge. Here's what happened. They had a stalled vehicle overnight that caused a shutdown on the Mississippi River Bridge. The stalled vehicle is what was reported to cause the shutdown around 9:15 last night. The bridge reopened about 5:45 this morning, so a little over half an hour ago. In the meanwhile, everything was rerouted to the old bridge, to the 190 bridge. Well, in so doing, a lot of traffic got stacked up that way. So now our problems are on that one. Now that the new bridge, now that the Horace Wilkinson Bridge is reopened, it's slow going coming across, but it is nonetheless better than it is up the other way. Now, I should note, or it should be noted, that I believe this is 190 westbound, so it's going from Baton Rouge to Port Allen. I'm not showing an accident as a result of it, just a heck of a lot of delays. Meanwhile, also on your interstates, I-110 southbound is showing delays around the Governor's Mansion curve, just a little bit more than usual congestion. I-12 westbound coming in from Denham Springs showing that normal congestion. I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish looks good, and 10 East coming back across the bridge. Like I said, you're going to find some congestion there, but not a heck of a lot. Meanwhile, surface streets, a couple of accidents to look out for there. You've got a stalled vehicle on O'Neill at South Harrell's Ferry, and an accident from about 45 minutes ago, Blue Bonnet at Jefferson. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 1073 Traffic Center. What are they doing down in New Orleans to help their budget shortfall? We'll talk with Jeff Crouere host of Ringside Politics in just a little bit, about 10 minutes from right now. We visit with Jeff every Tuesday. Right now, though, before we dive back in, got to remind you about the folks at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is their home base online. FlyBTR.com. When you're making your travel arrangements, you want to take into account all the costs, not just the ticket price. But number one, how much is your time worth? Driving all the way down to New Orleans, okay, and all the way back once you get home. That's part of it. The TSA experience is part of it as well. How about paying for parking? Exorbitant amounts of paying for parking down there versus you can literally Uber to the airport up here. When you're traveling, take into account your entire experience on how much more pleasant it is to fly out of Baton Rouge Metro Airport. Give them a look. If you're going to the Alabama game in a couple weeks, they've got a direct flight set up just for that game to fly to Birmingham. Going to the Oklahoma game before the season's out, direct flight set up for that one as well. Making your plans for Washington Mardi Gras, those tickets are picking up fast. Hit them up at flybtr.com. We're at 626 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. LSU, of course, pulled the trigger on firing Brian Kelly on Sunday. And LSU is the latest among a stack of schools that are now looking for a new head coach. Danny Cannell oftentimes says things. He's a sports analyst, whatever. He oftentimes says things that'll just really get under people's skin rather than make a point. Danny Cannell's been with ESPN for a number of years. But he was talking about the coaching carousel as a whole and honestly saying a couple things that are worth paying attention to.
Count them up. 10 coaches fired in season before November. That is the most in the FBS era since 1978. We haven't seen this. Brian Kelly, the 8th Power 4 coach, fired this season. This is it's a remarkable time. I'm trying to figure out why, this season has been the perfect storm. Have teams been waiting maybe extra years for some coaches? Is it because somebody pulls the trigger and then it's like, oh, well, they spent $50 million, so we can too, because James Franklin was the second highest buyout until now. Now Brian Kelly steps into that to the second highest buyout. Jimbo Fisher obviously was the biggest buyout that's been paid before. Like, does that make it? Is there more pressure on these programs to keep up with the Joneses, or is it just as bad as the fans think? Because the fans have a big voice in this. It's interesting that 2 of them were ranked in the preseason top 10 in LSU and Penn State. So maybe these coaches are a victim of their own expectations, because you remember both of James Franklin and Brian Kelly were 2 of the most confident coaches coming into this season. I remember you were at SEC Media Days. Yep. I was at Big Ten Media Days. And the kids used the term aura. James Franklin and Penn State players had an aura about them. It was like, ooh, they seem like they're confident. They seem like they're the team to watch out for. They fall flat on their face. Brian Kelly said this is the most talented roster he's had at LSU coming in this year. So then all of a sudden things seem to fall apart. You get blown out at home, which is one of the toughest venues to play in, and at home, that's a pride-filled stadium, and you get embarrassed. Whew. It has been a wild ride, wild ride, but 2 of the biggest surprises ever. I mean, if you would have said this in August 23rd, a week before the season started, and talked about the possibility of this, said, no way, not with these 2 programs, but here we are.
I would counter back with that and say James Franklin going into the season was more believable than Brian Kelly, to be sure, because he already had that reputation overall. Although maybe that's just blinders on as an LSU fan that we didn't want to accept what was it turns out to be an inevitability. So everything Danny Cannell spelled out right there, my biggest takeaway is this. Right now we're looking at 10 Power 4s or major college programs that are going to be looking for a head coach or are looking for a head coach. There's only one thing that can do, and that's raise the price, because there's only going to be so many coaches out there, and there's going to be bidding wars. I know the early favorite, or I shouldn't say the early favorite, the name getting thrown around the most is Lane Kiffin. Nobody seems to think that makes sense. And I agree that it doesn't make sense. If you're Lane Kiffin, you're at Ole Miss and you're already winning. If you're at Lane Kiffin, you're at Ole Miss and you're on a playoff projection right now. Can you win a national championship at Ole Miss Well, you're definitely in position to do so. Why would you be looking elsewhere? Going along with that, there will be suitors. Do you want to get into a bidding war for your head coach? Especially when you consider dollars, no matter how much it always seems like they're not finite, are finite. So when you're breaking this down, you kind of need to find a bargain coach that you can still afford to put a roster together on the back end, not to mention a coaching staff on the back end as well. We will continue to follow it. It's going to be an excruciatingly slow process because there's so much time left to go in the season, and any coach that you want is still coaching. Here's news. Good morning, Christy. Welcome in, sweetheart. Damn it. I get something off the printer. 636 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Every Tuesday, we check in down in New Orleans with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. He's on with us now. How are you, sir?
Hey, all right, Brian. Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you on here. Glad to be talking about anything that's not the coaching search in Baton Rouge, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. What a story, huh?
Crazy.
So,
$54 million.
$71 million they've had to pay their last two coaches to leave, right?
Yep. Yeah, between the two, that's exactly right. And it's kind of ridiculous to pay that much money to have somebody not work.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's almost like they've got, it's almost like being, it's the opposite of being a federal government employee right now, you know? It's the opposite of working for TSA right now. You know, we're paying Brian Kelly $800,000 a month not to work. Meanwhile, TSA is being asked to work without getting paid.
Right. Maybe he can help the TSA out some.
Maybe so. I mean, if he wants to go look for, his mitigation says he's got to look for a job. Well, technically that job's supposed to be in college football or pro football, but, get up off the couch.
Well, he might be a commentator somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah, and that's a possibility as well. We got a lot of ground to cover this morning. There's a lot going on. I want to start off up here in Baton Rouge with the redistricting session, if we could. How much news? I mean, it feels like they're sticking to their mission here and keeping it simple. Is that about the way it's translating down your way?
Yeah, that it's very limited, very focused.
And basically, like by tomorrow, they should pick up the voting. I said redistricting. This is related to redistricting. While we wait on redistricting, pushing back the primary election. The House is going to pick up the Senate's bill tomorrow, and then it's looking like that could just be it. They just might be done after that.
Right. I mean, I think there's a lot of desire to end this thing early and not go the full length and, maybe be done in a few days. So, I mean, it was predicted that it could end by November 1st.
Well, up here, okay, so let's say you push back the primary vote, and we're going to talk about the Senate race in a minute. But let's say you push back the primary vote, and the Supreme Court opens the door for new maps. We know in Baton Rouge what it would look like, or what we would like it to look like. We just want a capital region, district here. I mean, it's the state capital. It should have a some level of representation up in Congress. Down in New Orleans, though, what kind of changes could be in order as far as like Troy Carter or Steve Scalise's boundaries?
Well, I think they would all have to be changed. I think you'd have Steve Scalise's district be less Republican. And possibly Troy Carter's district be less Democrat, although Troy Carter right now, I think, has less of a African-American majority than Cleo Field's district. So, that could even put, Troy Carter's district into play politically. So, yeah, I mean, you've got these super Republican districts right now with massive margins for the Republicans, and you've got two African-American districts right now. There are not huge advantages for Democrats, but there are advantages. So when you remix everything, I think you make a lot of these districts more competitive. Now, whether that'll lead to anybody challenging these congressmen who usually don't get any kind of a serious challenge or not remains to be seen. But it could lead to a challenge for Troy Carter.
It's exactly where I was going with that. We're going to have Troy Carter on. He comes on with us every Tuesday about 8:35, a little segment we call DC Current, presented by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. And that is because Congressman Carter's district makes its way all the way up here to Baton Rouge. Right. I mean, it snakes its way up the river pretty good here. It's if it weren't for Cleo Fields' district, it would be the most gerrymandered in the state. So... that's
the problem,
yeah.
Brian. That's the problem. And I know Congressman Carter was up there yesterday, leading a protest about, what the legislature is doing. And I understand where he's coming from as far as the politics of it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, we got to have districts that are geographically compact. I mean, you can't have a district, in my opinion, that snakes up a river.
Right.
I mean, that to me is not fair to the members in those districts because they have different interests. I mean, you're representing people from widely different parts of the state.
Right.
So I'd like to see districts that are much more contiguous, much more geographically compact. I think that would be a better map. This whole thing has been a disaster from the beginning, from January 2024 when it was pushed through. Should have never been handled the way it was, and now we're still debating this almost 2 years later. The governor pushed all this through initially. Now, of course, he's changed his tune, but I wish he would have handled it differently from the very beginning.
I tend to agree with that, and I agree with the governor on a lot of things, but this was one where it was the question that I had was, why not force the court's hand? If the court is going to create a district, force them to create a district, and then claim that district is, then make the case that district is unconstitutional. It's don't give in willingly on this front,
exactly,
only to have to refight it a year later, if not even a year later.
And I don't agree with the argument, we had to do it. No, I don't think that's the case at all.
No, especially not coming from lawyers. Their job is to argue. They're supposed to make an argument. We had to do it. It's just giving up. And of everything that I agree with them on, this was one where it was like, no, this could have been handled completely differently from the start. We'd probably be looking at the same, net outcome right now, but it wouldn't be of our own doing, which would make it an easier argument on the back end. Meanwhile, we got Jeff Crouere on. He's the host of Ringside Politics down in New Orleans. Let's talk a little New Orleans, Jeff. Y'all are looking at, so here in Baton Rouge, we're looking at a budget shortfall, and we got a couple propositions on the November ballot that can help move some dedicated dollars around. But down in New Orleans, it's a much more serious problem y'all are facing.
Well, we've had horrible leadership. We've had extraordinary expenses. And the combination has led to a $160 million budget deficit. It's so bad, going to the State Bond Commission to cover payroll. Special meeting coming up on Thursday morning. So, yeah, you've got this huge issue, and some of the candidates in the debate talked about it, overspending on police overtime. And then the revenue projections were not accurate. So now you got to put a Band-Aid on this gaping wound and try to somehow get through until, Helena Moreno can get in there and hopefully right the ship. But, she's been on the city council, so, supposedly responsibility for the budget. So she has a very good handle of what the problem is. Hopefully she's got some solutions.
Well, you actually picked up right where I was going with this, and that is the incoming mayor is a long-sitting city council person. So on the one hand, you can be reassured that she knows the problem coming in, but on the other hand, why hasn't she done anything to fix it in her current post?
Well, that's exactly the questions I was asking during the campaign.
Yeah.
No one wanted to address it. They just wanted to get her in there. And, she is obviously polished and very savvy media-wise, and, people are excited that she's going to bring a new direction to the city, but she has been there for a while. She's known exactly what has caused this. She hasn't exactly been leading the opposition to what Cantrell was doing. But, now it's her city, and she's the leader. So hopefully we'll get, some solutions. We're going to have massive cuts.
What do those cuts look like, though? Because I don't see like where New Orleans can make that level of cut and not have it take a chunk out of significant pieces of the economy that have to keep rolling.
Well, they're going to have to cut police overtime.
Uh-huh.
They're going to have to cut some of these departments. Cantrell has already trimmed, money for New Orleans East. So they're going to have to look at everything, and they're going to probably have to let go of some employees. Some of these development projects that they've got going, like redoing Cherry Hospital, Municipal Auditorium, Six Flags, Enable Support Activity, all those could be stalled. When you have a $160 million budget deficit, you've got huge problems. So one of the best things we can do is bring in more revenue, and that would make these problems go away. But we've been hemorrhaging taxpayers and businesses during Cantrell's term, so that's not happened.
Okay,
so that's got to turn around.
You brought up two in particular that I want you to follow up on, Jeff. Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics, our guest. You brought up two in particular that I want you to follow up on. The first, you said Six Flags. The folks in the East, they've got to feel like Charlie Brown trying to kick the football, because this has been like 20 plus years of just putting off the East, putting off the East, putting off the East. At any point along the way, is New Orleans East going to get any love?
Well, it doesn't look like in the short term because these cuts are going to have to be made. And what's happened to Six Flags is an abomination because it was first Jazzland.
Right.
And that, of course, failed. And then it was Six Flags, and that seemed to limp along until we had Katrina. And then, of course, it's been a disaster ever since. I mean, it's been a movie site for abandoned amusement parks. I mean, that's what it's been used for.
Because it's it's a live-action Scooby-Doo.
Right. So, I mean, and I would question the location of it and all the different factors that went into building it there in the first place. It just never materialized as a destination. And I've always thought a water park, something like that, would be a better fit. And they do have a plan that has all kinds of different attractions, including a water park. But again, when they're going to get there, when they're going to have the money for that, I don't know. I think a lot of these things are going to have to be put on hold.
When you look at public-private partnerships out that way, does it have to be a lot more private than public in order to move forward at this point?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, it should be, but I think a lot of these developers probably say, hey, we're going to need some help initially because, the traffic's not going to be there.
Right.
We're going to have to take a loss as we build this thing, and it's going to take a while to make this financially viable, so we need help. And that's the catch-22.
The other one you brought up was the charity hospital one, which to me is the bigger one because long-term economic impact, that could be a huge game changer right in the heart of New Orleans. I mean, right where it needs to be.
And again, we're talking about something since Katrina that has been vacant. I mean, we're talking about 20 years, and this is a prime area right next to the CBD. I mean, it's in a medical corridor that could be a win-win for New Orleans. And it's just outrageous that this thing has been, stalled for as long as it has. So, again, with new leadership, we're hoping there's going to be action on that. I mean, that can be something that could hopefully become financially viable a lot quicker because you're right there in the heart of everything on Tulane Avenue.
I would love to know how much it would cost to completely refurbish Charity Hospital and how many coaches LSU would have to fire for them to pool their buyouts together and get it done.
I think it would cost maybe one coach.
One more. We'll get, Kelly and Ogeron together and maybe connect them with, I don't know, whoever else can be let go. And they can rebuild the medical corridor down in New Orleans. He's Jeff Crouere.
It tells you a little bit about the priorities of this state, Brian.
I was being intentionally snide right there, Jeff, and thank you for picking up on it. You got a show to get to, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yep, you too. 650 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Let's talk about the governmental shutdown, the federal government shutdown. It rolls on. We're looking at about starting another week. By midnight tonight, we'll be starting another week. What's the latest? Well, we'll hear from some audio from Speaker Mike Johnson. That's coming up next. All right, question, Facebook. How do you handle managing your social media when it comes to who you accept as a friend or who you accept as a connection. Because, like, I'm pretty blanket on LinkedIn. Just if I get added on LinkedIn, I'll go ahead and accept it. But I've been getting a lot of folks from Kenya lately. I see no advantage to adding them to my Rolodex. Like I just rejected a guy named Frank Maburu. Mburu. I think that's pronounced Maburu. Like, I'm selective on Facebook, right? Because that's my personal Facebook page.
Right.
It's friends and family, first of all.
Yeah.
Or you've got to show me you've got a real profile. Like, I'll click on the profile to make sure it's not like two pictures and like, oh, look, you've got two friends in connection. Well, they're both dudes who are going to say yes to every hot chick pic, right? Yeah. So, like, have a real profile, be local or have a connection to local. And, like, that's I pretty set parameters on Facebook, right? Yeah. LinkedIn, I try to, like, I want to be open because it's business and you never want to turn down anything. Right. But I don't need Frank Maburu. What the hell? Whether it's Baton Rouge blunders or DC drama, Moon's got the hot takes and hometown humor to keep you laughing and thinking. No fluff, no filter. Just Moon being Moon. Listen and subscribe on all your favorite platforms. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. You can also catch every episode at talk1073.com. Rolling over to 656 at Talk 1073 FM. We're going to get you to ABC News coming up here at the top of the hour. Next hour, we check in with Donnie Miller from the Ascension Parish Chamber. We check in with State Representative Julie Emerson, who is now U.S. Senate candidate Julie Emerson, threw her hat in the ring yesterday. We'll find out her why in a little bit. Well, a little more than half an hour from right now. Right now, though, the government shutdown has reached day 28, which once you get to day 28, the next thing is a full month. And after a full month, checks have to be cut to a lot of people. So questions are being raised about, can contingency funds be used for SNAP benefits, for payroll, for things like that? Can you use contingency funds that are already built out and saved up within the federal budget? House Speaker Mike Johnson says the administration's hands are tied when it comes to using those funds.
The reason is because it's a finite source of funds. It was appropriated by Congress, and if they transfer funds from these other sources, it pulls it away immediately from school meals and infant formula.
So it's still being used for funding meals, just not on the SNAP front. I don't understand that entirely. Those are we. The thing about a government shutdown is it's not complete. It's not a complete shutdown of everything, right? There are pieces that are still up and running. And we're going to talk about that a little bit with Congressman Carter coming up at 8:30, or 8:35, I should say. Congressman Troy Carter will join us and talk about the ongoing shutdown. But he and a few other congressmen put together a bill to keep FEMA up and running during the shutdown. And my question is, how do you put together a bill if no one's there to vote on it? But we'll talk with him about that. In the meanwhile, as Speaker Johnson has said before, he says now, this is a day-by-day scenario here. He said repeatedly it would be stupid to bring the House back in because no matter what they do, it's got to get past the Senate. And if the Senate's just going to reject a clean bill, then we're nowhere. So it remains day by day.
We do assess it day by day, hour by hour, because if you remember, the original CR was going to extend and allow 7 additional weeks for us to finish the appropriations process to November 21. Well, now they've eaten up, the month of October, and we're getting closer and closer to that deadline. And so it is something that we take into account. It's a day-by-day evaluation.
Come Saturday, it's going to get real fast. Some states are going to find it within themselves to cover those SNAP benefits. Some are not. And as people get hungrier, people get more desperate. So we'll keep an eye on it. Got to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website. If you or someone you know or love battles with anxiety or depression, you need to give Neurojust a look, especially if you've thus far been treatment resistant. What does that mean? Well, you're not getting out of the sit-down therapy, which you thought you would. Or you've been given a quick prescription and you don't like that route because of either the way it makes you feel, diminishing returns on the drugs, or side effects of the drugs, or they just don't take it all. Neurojust specializes in TMS, that's transcranial magnetic stimulation. This is basically, they send magnetic pulses into your brain that target the areas that affect mood. They calm the seas within. It's non-invasive. There are no side effects. More than 70% show complete remission. More than 80% show response. It's FDA approved. Want to learn more? Visit neurojust.com, Neurojust, neurojust.com. Hit the ID. The ID's 10 seconds. This thing's fucking worthless, by the way. It's frozen on 7:08.
Oh.
7 o'clock and 8 seconds.
Oh, man.
And then it'll jump. Now 23.
Might have to just get you a digitized, like.
They don't say.
They don't have clocks. They make atomic clocks.
My laptop works just fine.
Oh, you use your laptop for it?
Yeah, I got it on my laptop right now, but I have to close everything else up.
Oh,
to
yeah,
keep an eye
just
on
to
it.
see it, yeah.
Wow. A political cartoon about the candidate for mayor of New York.
Yeah.
My aunt stopped taking the subway after 9/11 because she didn't feel safe wearing a hijab. The response, that must have been devastating, Mr. Mamdani. My aunt stopped taking the subway after 9/11 because she was incinerated in the North Tower.
Ooh. Yeesh.
I want to get my binder with future dates on it. Come on! Oh! .705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. JP producing, broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. Is it time for your IT to hit a 180? Visit 180pros.com. We're starting off your second hour the same place we started off the first hour, 60 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Checking in at Ascension Parish in our next segment. Donnie Miller's with the Ascension Parish Chamber, going to join us to talk about what's going on down that way. And 7:35, we got State Representative Julie Emerson joining us. She has thrown her hat in the ring to run for U.S. Senate. And we're going to talk about that with her, and then we're going to talk about her. No, actually, we're talking about the overall Senate race later on this hour as well. Right now, though, we start your hour with top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Attorney General Liz Murrill joined a coalition of 24 states in support of President Trump's birthright citizenship policy. In a press release, the AG said, we filed a lawsuit on this same issue, which has currently been temporarily stayed pending the outcome of other litigation on the issue. We're happy to see this lawsuit move forward. I believe the U.S. Supreme Court needs to expeditiously resolve this issue.
Number 4.
Starting Saturday, people who receive SNAP benefits will not receive more money if the federal government remains closed. As a result, Louisiana lawmakers are trying to pull from state funds to ensure residents don't go hungry. State Representative Jack McFarland says time is of the essence. We've got I should say close to 800,000 Louisianans receive SNAP benefits.
Number 3.
Governor Jeff Landry has called on LSU to be the first campus to put a Charlie Kirk statue on campus. The governor made the announcement on social media after the This is the Turning Point tour at the River Center last night, where more than 1,600 people are reported to have attended.
Number 2.
Drivers in West Baton Rouge could see major changes coming soon along the Highway 1 and Highway 415 corridors. The Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development is designing a new route that will cross the Intracoastal Waterway and feature major intersections at Highway LA1, Sun Plus Parkway in an industrial area west of LA1, and an upgraded interchange improvements at Highway 415 and I-10.
Number 1.
Hurricane Melissa is a major hurricane, maximum sustained winds. This is pretty much it is about as major as you can get. Maximum sustained winds, 175 miles per hour, bearing down on Jamaica today, and not going to hit mainland U.S., but is going to do some damage as it makes its way across Jamaica and the Dominican Republic, or I should say Cuba, actually.
Well, the second space race will pick back up next year. NASA has marked February 2026 as their window to pick a date to return to the moon.
10-day trip to the moon, huh?
It's 10 days?
Yeah.
Nice
Loading up the old family truckster and heading out to Wally World.
Nice little vacation.
Yeah, a little vacation right there. A little 10-day trip to the moon.
Yeah, why not?
It's the moon.
That's it.
I mean, go longer. You can go longer than 10 days. What didn't get enough PTO? Like, right? You're going to the moon for crying out loud.
That's what I'm saying.
It's it's not Six Flags. It's not Wally World.
Oh man. So yeah, this is cool.
It is kind of cool.
It's cool.
It's like why have we not been back since we went?
That's what I'm wondering.
Right?
I think that's what we all wonder.
Yeah. Well, that's what the people who think we faked the moon landing are like. Well, if we didn't fake it, we'd be going back and forth all the time. Not really. We're not running a shuttle up there. You know.
Oh, man. Keeping in other news, President Trump's Asia tour continues, stopping off in Japan to sign off on a $500 billion trade deal.
$500 billion.
Wow.
$500 billion.
Man.
That's a big number.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I know.
Man.
It's an incomprehensible. Not like in terms of like global politics and global economics, sure. But try to narrow that down. Like, we are looking at paying a former head football coach $54 million to not work. You realize, like, when you're talking about $500 billion, like what a drop in the bucket that is. Yeah. Like, just when you broaden it out to scale, it's ridiculous.
It really is. It really is. And keeping it with President Trump, he is floating the idea of cutting Americans a tariff check. So,
I really want to know what that's going to look like and who's going to get it. Because, I mean, it makes sense when you read through the story. It makes sense that it would act as like a dividend, right?
Yep.
The president said that the tariffs on imports from other nations have already raked in well over $1 trillion this year. There's that number again. With $650 billion from the European Union, $550 billion from Japan, and $350 billion from South Korea. So what are we doing with that money? Are we sitting on it? Are we paying down the nation's debt? Are we taking a chunk out of our, debt and deficit are two different things, but like, if we've got all this money, then why don't we get our nation out of debt? That, to me, kind of seems like that would be the first and most prudent thing you could do with it. Second thing is to give it to you and me and let us go spend it on a new pair of, like, oh, look, I bought an electric scooter. Ooh,
there we go.
Ooh. Yeah, we went out, got a corgi. How about that?
There you go.
We still owe China all of our major organs, but we went out and
worth it,
right? We owe China all of our major organs, but we went out and bought an espresso.
It's one way to spend it,
right?
It's one way to spend it. And we're looking at checks ranging from $1,000 to $2,000.
Yeah, somewhere up in
roughly.
there. Somewhere up in there. A little you know what would be great though is do this around Christmas time.
There
and
you
like
go.
see how many people don't take on credit card debt when they spend on the holidays.
There you go.
You know, I'm joking around about buying an espresso. That's exactly what would happen.
For sure.
Is like, oh, we're going to
course.
splurge on Christmas this year.
Yeah.
Oh, all the kids get the Lifesaver book. Did you ever get that did you ever get that as a kid?
Lifesaver
The
book?
Lifesaver book?
Oh my gosh, I hadn't thought about Lifesaver.
The Lifesaver book, man.
Forever.
That was a stocking stuffer
Oh my
must.
goodness. I hadn't even thought about that.
You know what I need to see? I need to see if Matherns is going to carry that.
Oh man, there we go.
I haven't had a Lifesaver book since the 80s.
Man, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
By the way, I mentioned Matherns because I'm supposed to tell you about Matherns right now. Bye week over at LSU, right? So not going to tell you about them from a tailgating standpoint, although they are a must on game day. However, with the holidays approaching, Matherns is a must for you when it comes to lightening your holiday load. Talking about helping you out with your holiday meals, whether you're talking about knocking out some of the, some of the side dishes with your Thanksgiving dinner or the whole Thanksgiving dinner if you really want to be good about it. But looking ahead to Christmas parties, holiday parties, the catering trays at Matherns are an absolute go-to. You could step up your holiday party menu, your Christmas party menu, by hitting up Matherns.com, look up the catering, download the Matherns app, look up the catering right there. Boudin ball trays, fried chicken trays, finger sandwich trays, you name it. Get creative with it. But the catering trays at Matherns, top notch. Hit them up either in the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center right across the street from Tiger Stadium or the new /OG location, Highland, just west of Kenilworth. It's Matherns. $7:15, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Going to head out to Ascension Parish in just a quick second, but I do need to remind you about 180 Pros. 180pros.com is their website. Is it time to give your IT a 180? Look, they do things a little bit differently over at 180 Pros. They're not your IT provider. They're your IT partner, and they're going to be the last IT call you have to make. Between the simplified billing and the relationship that they form when you hire them, you're not going to want to look for another IT place out there. You're going to realize other places have nickel and dimed you to death. When you have an IT partner, you get that simplified billing. When you have an IT partner, you call them on Tuesday, they're going to see you on Tuesday. They can't guarantee they'll get the problem solved on Tuesday because some problems get a little bit bigger than others. But what they can promise is a response time. What they can guarantee is a response time. And they do exactly that because your success is their success. That's what having a partner is all about. Check them out online at 180pros.com. Time to head out to Ascension Parish. Donnie Miller heads up the chamber that way. Joins us right now. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning. Happy Foggy Tuesday.
Is it foggy out there? Because there was like no fog when I came, but I came in, obviously well before dawn. So is it bad?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just rolling in. It's starting to, feel a lot like fall. It's great.
I love it. So tomorrow's going to be one of those awesome days, Donnie. Tomorrow's going to be one of those days where you wake up and it's like 56 degrees. And then at 11 o'clock, it's going to be maybe 60. And then in the early afternoon, the wind's going to start blowing. It's going to kick right back down again. So, and it looks like all of our rain's going to be overnight, which it makes it even better, right? Get that under the covers weather, I'm all snuggly.
Right.
I like being snuggly. It's a weird conversation to have with another man.
If I could talk my 7-year-old out of wearing his muscle no-sleeve shirt this morning, I'm like, buddy, it's time for a jacket.
Look, if you can get a shirt on a 7-year-old, you're already winning. So, sleeves, no sleeves. I think you're in the win column to begin with.
I'll take the W.
Yep. All right, we got some stuff to talk about this morning. I want to start off with the we're getting close to the deadline for applications for the Ascension Leadership Class for 2026.
Yeah, it's coming up the end of this month, so Halloween will mark the day where we will attempt to close out applications. We've got quite a few folks that have applied. Then it goes to an overall committee and through a rubric to make sure that we're vetting folks through the process. But yeah, we're excited. This is going to be we're coming up on our 30th year, right, of Leadership Ascension.
So let's talk about it a little bit. What does leadership look like? What does Leadership Ascension do?
Yeah, it's a 10-month experience. And it's really designed to help participants grow as leaders while gaining a deep understanding of our community. So the sessions cover a slew of key topics like diversity, education, healthcare, law enforcement, government, project management. We really want the folks going through these leadership programs to get to peek behind the curtain of what's going on in their community. We've got a great program in East Baton Rouge through the partnership. And Ascension, has a very similar program where we're getting to showcase everything that our community has to showcase.
You've got an interesting community there because Ascension Parish is really, it's not, there's not one Ascension Parish, Donnie. You get a lot of diversity out there in terms of the difference between Prairieville and Gonzales, the difference between Gonzales and Donaldsonville. You got a river splitting down the middle there. You got to pull a lot of things together to keep everybody, in the same direction.
Yeah, more so than any time before. I feel like it's a terrible time to use this analogy, but when you've got a winning season, your community tends to rally around it. And Ascension has had a winning season over the past year and a half of all the project announcements that are coming. And that development spurs more development. So you're right. Yeah, we've just got something in the water right now, and we're going to continue that momentum.
Okay, so how do you make that happen? How do you make? I don't realize I say this with love, Donnie, okay?
Yeah.
But if Donaldsonville's in the win column, how do you get more inclusive like that?
Yeah, no, I think Ascension Parish really is. Historically, we could think of Donaldsonville being across the river, but they're still part of the family.
Right.
And I was just filming something yesterday at our public school system and having the conversation. They asked why. Why does Ascension, why are we doing so well? And I said, easy answer. It really is. Yes, investment's coming, but we have a team that comes together from our educators, from our school system to our elected officials and government, but also our industry. They're not all supporting each other. They're partnered. They're really all at the table together constantly.
Which is very cool. Where do you go from here? I mean, part of leadership is finding direction. So where do you go from here? Is it more of the same? Is there room for more of the same? Is there a new field? Is one of the things I like about leadership academies and things like that is having the ability to dream. So if given a blank slate, where do you go?
Well, we do. We give a blank slate to each of these classes coming in. They compete on service projects, and I lower the intensity of compete, but really they identify service projects within the community, and they go out, raise money, and then they execute. So I think little steps like that really bring fresh ideas into the market. We've seen ideas similar to nonprofits that have spun out of this leadership class. You know, we've had our Parks Foundation actually catch wind, find some legs, find some finances, hire an executive director, and really open up what our parks can look like. So that, to me, that adds to the quality of life, portion of economic development. So I think there's little ways that our leadership class can step in, but it's also our stakeholders being able to augment what their capabilities are through financing, through in-kind donations, through just pure time. I think that's how you get the W.
We're talking with Donnie Miller with the Ascension Parish Chamber. Y'all got an event coming up tonight that I think is pretty cool. Tell me about it.
Yeah, this is an event that we, as a staff, we look forward to every year. This is we're hosting an elected officials appreciation, and this is not a programmatic, speech-heavy. We're trying to lean on them for anything. There's zero ask in the room. It's really a chance for our membership to get to engage with our elected officials, and by asking nothing of them, we just want to celebrate them. We're not talking shop. We're really just having an appetizer and a Coke, maybe something heavier, to talk through our community and get a chance to interface. So we do this earlier in the year with our industry, and we bring in all of our major facilities into one place, and it's a chance for our membership to engage with a very specific demographic. And tonight's the same way. Tonight is instead of industry in the business community, it's our business community with our elected officials.
What was the idea behind this? The impetus that got this rolling? Because I mean, I feel like this is one where we have those who go out to serve us, and we vilify them on a daily basis. We ridicule them. We put them under a microscope. There is no standard they can live up to. What was it that made y'all want to say, hey, let's take one day and just say thanks for jumping on all the rhetorical grenades?
Well, it's exactly that. I mean, gosh, I look at a lot of these elected positions, and I sometimes don't wish them upon my enemies, not for the work that they're doing, but the time commitment and the feedback, and sometimes critical feedback that is consistently rolling through, no matter how good of a job you do. And we know all elected officials get into this, for the reason of benefiting their community and increasing access to whatever it is we have at home. And tonight's the night that we're able to celebrate that. And look, it's not just our local elected officials. We've invited everyone all the way up to the state levels and all the way up to the federal levels. And so we're going to have a good cross-section of electeds in the room, which really will hopefully break down barriers and open up dialogue for future opportunities.
Absolutely love that. I would put that on par with like holding a thank you dinner for like LHSAA referees.
Yes. Yes.
Just, nobody ever thinks to do that, right? Like just round up all the refs and be like, hey, I know I called you blind for 10 straight weeks, but thanks for being out there.
That's right. It's what a thankless job.
Right.
Every time we have a game with our young ones, that's the first thing we do after we slap hands. Please go thank the ref, no matter how good or bad the game result was.
Exactly.
That's a tough job as well.
Exactly. I would put that on par right there. Also this week, the Smart Start Breakfast coming up.
Yeah, this is a fun way just to open up to the community, get some activity moving in the morning without crushing the entire day or having to take a break for something midday or late in the evening. So we partner with the Girl Scouts of America each year. Their location's over by what we think of as Cabela's. That's now changed names to Bass Pro. But that's Thursday morning. And really, there's no ask again. This is just a chance for networking in a room, learning a little bit more about one of our community partners, Girl Scouts of America, and then really interacting and driving the business community to have those conversations. Because, similar to when we had the NIL discussion at one of our luncheons, it's really informing the community about what's possible. And I think Girl Scouts of America, many people, unless they've got young ones in the program or have bought cookies, don't know the full breadth of what they do. And I think this gives an opportunity to share that information.
That's pretty cool. Look, it's growing up, my mother was a Girl Scout leader, so I got to see firsthand all the the things going on behind the scenes and whatnot. It's more than just a cookie racket for sure. And I don't know that scouting is in 2025 where anybody thought it would be, right? I mean, definitely taking a back seat to be sure, but the fact that the Girl Scouts continue to thrive is worthy of its own look.
It is. I hope they continue to grow. I look back at my days early as a scout. I didn't make it too far, but it's important years, and it taught me a lot. And I know there's an opportunity for the next generation to go just do things that are positive within the world for the community, and that's what these programs represent.
Got just a couple minutes with Donnie Miller from the Ascension Parish Chamber. When's the next member luncheon coming up?
Yeah, we've got one coming up. In 2 weeks? Next week, November, over at the Pace Center. And this is an opportunity. Typically, we bring in speakers every month. We bring in heavy hitters to talk about what's going on throughout Louisiana, throughout our parishes. November, we hold every single year for our graduating leadership classes, and they come present their individual projects. So that each person will get up. Each team will get up and offer a presentation of their service, and then it'll actually get voted on by some judges later in the year. But I'm excited because this is one that doesn't just highlight the individual projects, but also brings back a lot of alumni. So it's a great way to interact with all the old veterans that have gone through this before.
Well, yeah, and gives us the perfect sneak preview for the next round. I mean, for those that are like on their way in, struggling, what direction do we want to go in? Brings us right back to the beginning of the conversation, Donnie, is that like when you're given the opportunity to dream, to say, where do we want to head? What would be some, big lofty ideas where we can raise the floor and blow out the ceiling? This is a good jumping off point for that.
Yeah. I mean, look, whether it's raising awareness, support people in recovery, whether it's supporting our council on aging or just beautification of our communities, there's a cross section of projects that are happening, and they're happening through this medium. And it's going to be led by Amy Velez in this coming year in 2026. We've had Bridget Hanna and Amy Velez volunteering this year. God bless them. They've gone through this program, have seen the value, and offered up their time this past year. So we can't thank them enough, but we're excited that Amy's going to return, and we're just going to augment what's already been a success over the past 30 years. I'm really excited to showcase the increased programming that we're going to have.
Very, very cool stuff. He is Donnie Miller, heads up the Ascension Parish Chamber. We try to check in monthly. Donnie, we always appreciate the time, man.
Brian, thanks. Have a great day, man. Appreciate it.
You do the same. That's a lot going on in Ascension Parish. That dude's got to have his head on a swivel right now. That's a lot of movement. All right. Look at the clock. Want to make sure we stay on time. We got news, traffic, weather coming your way. We're going to talk with Julie Emerson, Senate candidate Julie Emerson, coming up in just a little bit. Throwing her hat in the ring yesterday morning. It was actually right about this time yesterday morning, 24 hours ago. She made the announcement, and will join us when we come back after news, traffic, and weather. Before we break, though, got to remind you about Landmark Bank, landmarkbankla.com, landmarkbankla.com. Having a community banker is unbelievably important right now. Don't have to tell you about if you're a business owner and you went through COVID. If you had to go through the PPP process and make payroll and keep the thing afloat, you already know the value of the local bank and the local banker. But from a personal aspect, what difference does it make to go with somebody local? Well, you have the opportunity to sit down with somebody that is your friend, that is your neighbor, somebody you're going to see in the grocery store or at the gas station or at the public library, someone who can better understand what your dreams are, where you want to be in your life, and how to help get you there. Learn more at landmarkbankla.com. Personal banking, business banking, you need a community banker, and they've been one since 1897 at Landmark Bank. Oh, I forgot my water. Ooh. Damn. Chair. I forgot my water upstairs. I'll be back. Do you have Julie's number? I know. I was talking with somebody the other day. They love my Fun Fair Park idea, by the way. Yeah, I've been joking about bringing Fun Fair Park back, but putting it on the levee. They had mapped out exactly where all the rides would go, and I'm like, that's awesome.
See, you got people to visualize with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When you
I know.
catch the vision.
I know, and that's just me being a dick. Like, I'm just like, But it lends to the point, like, if you dream big about where you can go,
yeah,
you can go there. Like, it's not dreams
absolutely.
can become plans.
Oh, absolutely.
737 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Don't forget the Talk 107.3 app is now available on Apple CarPlay. Press play on exclusive podcasts and listen live 24/7 anywhere you go. Download the app or update to the current version to get access. The Talk 107.3 app is presented by Lake Urgent Care. Lake Urgent Care, walk-in care for minor illnesses and injuries. All right, big announcement coming out yesterday morning. The press release hit at 7:14 a.m. So exactly 24 hours and 20 minutes later, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee over in the Louisiana House is joining us right now, as she is now a candidate for U.S. Senate. Julie Emerson, good morning. Welcome aboard. How are you?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. Always great to be with you.
Love having you on. Always appreciate the time. We've got to talk about your why, first and foremost. I mean, a lot of us know you here, right? And we'll get to, for those that don't know you, we'll get to that in a little bit. But I want to start with your why here. Why do you want to get in this race?
Yeah, look, I really appreciate that question, Brian. There's a lot of good challengers who have jumped in, and I've been watching the data and the polling the last few months, and it just became apparent that there were a lot of people that were still very unsettled on their candidates, and folks that maybe wanted another candidate to emerge. Obviously we need a strong conservative challenger. I think we all know that conservatives have gotten a little frustrated with Senator Cassidy and some of his choices and votes, and so it was just apparent to me that there was a desire for another candidate to jump in that had a clear conservative record and also a record of being able to get conservative reforms across the finish line. So I've been thinking about it pretty heavily for the last couple of months, and just received a tremendous amount of encouragement and decided to go ahead and jump in.
Okay, now we're doing this in reverse order. For those that don't know you, I mean, you're pretty popular in the state capitol, been pivotal in a number of different things that have moved forward, whether we're talking about, reducing our state income tax or the Gator Scholarship Program. Your name's been front and center a number of times. But for those that don't know you, give us the bio. Who is Julie Emerson?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think a lot of times we get really caught up in all the things that we're doing, and sometimes we need to step back and just kind of reintroduce ourselves to folks. So I was actually born in Claiborne Parish in Homer, Louisiana. My grandfather was in local politics there. He was on the town council for several years and served as mayor for a couple of years there as well. And my family moved to South Louisiana, to Acadiana, when I was young. So I grew up in Crouere. And then I decided to run actually against the Democrat incumbent in 2015 for the state legislature. We were the only Republican to beat a Democrat incumbent that year. We won 51-49, so it was a really fun race, and we worked really, really hard, obviously, to oust an incumbent there. But this is my third term in the legislature. I serve as chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, and obviously last November we had a really big tax reform session that has resulted in over $70 billion of economic investment into the state of Louisiana. I've been a conservative fighter in the House, obviously with 8 years of Governor Edwards. Sometimes it was a little bit tough, and we had to stand up a lot of times to some of his tax and spend policies, but thankfully we have a lot of conservatives in charge in the state capitol now. And also, in our nation. And so I really do believe that America has a bright future. I love our country. I love our state. And that's really what drives me to public service. And I just want to bring that same spirit and working hard for conservative reforms to Washington.
Okay, let's talk about that, because with so many rowing in the same direction, and now one would argue rowing in the right direction in the state capitol, why would you want to move now? You've been influential where you are. Wouldn't going to the other side of the building make sense?
Well, I obviously appreciate that sentiment, but this is my last term in the House. I am term limited, and as far as the state Senate, that's not really a viable option for me based on where I live, and so I got approached by a lot of supporters and a lot of people about jumping in this U.S. Senate race and folks wanting an alternative. And look, I do want to address one thing. I saw a lot of concern over vote splitting in a lot of comments yesterday. So I do want to clarify, since I actually was the author of the party primary bill, there's really no danger of vote splitting anymore. We have a party primary where all the Republicans are going to be on the ballot together. And obviously conservatives have a lot of options here. But then once we make it to the runoff, If Senator Cassidy does make it to the runoff and everyone wants a conservative alternative, then everyone can unite behind that person who makes the runoff. But, maybe he doesn't make the runoff and there's two other people that are in the runoff. So I just want to stress that we are giving people options in the beginning. And then obviously when we get to the runoff, I would expect that, everyone would consolidate behind the most conservative candidate and support them, which is certainly what I would plan to do. So, I think that I'm the most conservative person who also has a strong record of really getting conservative reforms across the finish line. But I did want to assure voters and certainly conservative voters out there that no one's trying to split the vote here. We are trying to give conservatives options of who they want and who they think is best, and then unite behind that person.
Well, that was the whole purpose of the closed primary to begin with. I mean, we can, speaking as a Republican, we can have a battle royale and then rally once that number's been whittled down. Right, you have time to circle the wagons behind the right candidate before the fall election itself happens, rather than everybody duking it out all at once when.
Well, I mean, and really, I want to stress that, we also have that opportunity to do that in the primary runoff as well when there's only two people.
Yeah.
So we can rally behind the conservative candidate at that point as well. And then certainly rally behind our Republican nominee in November.
We got Julie Emerson on with us. She is running for U.S. Senate. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your politics. Let's talk a little bit about your plans. Should you be elected, what would be your priorities?
Well, obviously, we want to continue to promote conservative reforms. I really enjoyed working in tax policy on the state level. It's something that I dabbled in a little bit before I became chairman of Ways and Means, but obviously I've been able to take a much greater role doing that. And, we were able to flatten our income tax, bring it down to a flat 3%, cut over $1 billion in personal income taxes. Same thing on the corporate side. Obviously saw a lot of tremendous investment. People recognize that Louisiana was making moves. So I think we need to do the same thing on the federal level. It's a much larger behemoth. And then also, look, on the state level, I'd say we're pretty blessed in that we have to balance the budget. I think unfortunately they don't have to do that on the federal level, which is what has gotten us into a lot of issues. And we've got to tighten the belt. We obviously are in the middle of this shutdown right now. And I understand, Republicans are trying to stand firm and say we're tired of all this frivolous spending. I can tell you one thing that we did in Louisiana just this year to save money on the Medicaid rolls. I think we saved about $40 million by just eliminating people who were dead and people who had moved out of state who were still receiving Louisiana Medicaid dollars. And so those are just some of the few things. I do a lot of work in fiscal policy, which I think is something that we desperately need on the federal level right now. And so certainly I want to fight alongside the conservatives and President Trump to try to tighten our belt and reduce that deficit and that ongoing debt we have.
We're talking with Julie Emerson about her run for U.S. Senate. Obviously, fiscal matters are going to be a top priority for you. What else falls under that umbrella? What else are you interested in tackling?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously I think that, immigration is also always going to be a huge issue in the United States. And I think you've seen a big shift toward implementing and actually following the laws that we have on the books. I think protecting our border is incredibly important. We don't have a country without borders at this point. And I think, you see a lot of folks wanting to come into America, and hey, if you want to do that legally, we'll be happy to help you come here, be a productive citizen, hopefully get a great employment, but we want you to do it the right way. And I think that's the message that everybody wants to send. I think the media distorts what's going on, but really, we need to make sure that people are following our laws and doing things the right way. So I think we're well on our way to getting there, but we have to get our border under control. I think you have seen with President Trump in office, the amount of illegal border crossings have virtually been eliminated. And so that's really great to hear. And again, hey, if you want to come here and be a productive citizen of the United States, great. We'll welcome you with open arms, but do it the right way.
You are about 30 years younger than the average U.S. senator. Talk to me a little bit about how you hope that plays during this campaign.
Well, look, I was about when I first got elected into the state house. I was roughly 30 years younger than most of the folks there as well.
Also true.
But I will tell you, since I've been elected in the state house, obviously nothing to do with me, but we've seen a lot of younger people be elected, and so I would tell you that the average age in the state legislature has certainly gone down the last few years. But look, I don't see it as a negative because I do believe that I have really good experience, obviously very good legislative experience, serving 10 years in the House and taking a leadership role and passing very meaningful legislation. And so I think that's really the biggest thing that you need to understand how to do is how to get things across the finish line and really push conservative reforms and build consensus. Also author the capital outlay bill, which is our state's infrastructure budget. And I have to work with every single legislator, regardless of party, and of course the governor's office and all the other stakeholders involved to build consensus on that bill. We only have a certain amount of money every year for capital outlay. And so trying to prioritize all of our infrastructure projects, roads, bridges, water, sewer, things like that, has really been a key priority of mine. But getting members to prioritize those things as well and building consensus to pass that bill is incredibly important. And so, I've been able to do that as one of the youngest members of the legislature. And, no one's come to me and said, well, I really need this road paved, but you're 37 years old, so I don't think that you're going to be able to do it. So, I appreciate, obviously, being a young person. But when I first got into the House, I just learned, I sat there for a few minutes and I listened and I learned, and I had a lot of great mentors that helped me along the way. And it's never been a hindrance for me as long as you get in there, you do the work, you speak up when you know something, and you're not disrespectful to anyone. I think that goes a long way. And so I don't have any concerns about it. There's a few younger members of the U.S. Senate right now, and I look forward to joining them and getting the work done.
Got just less than 2 minutes left with Julie Emerson, who's running for U.S. Senate. Let's talk about broadening out from a House district to a statewide race. What's the campaign trail looking like for you?
Yeah, look, obviously I'll readily admit that to you. It's a big jump. And, I've helped a lot of conservative candidates get elected along the way. And, some that have been serious long shots, but I knew they were the best people for the job. And so it just takes a lot of hard work. Obviously this is a Republican primary. And so the audience is a little bit smaller. As far as, total amount of votes in the first round. Mm-hmm. But, I cover the state a lot in my current role being chairman of Ways and Means. We just did a 9-stop regional tour. The Speaker of the House organized for us to give legislative updates all around the state. So, we were basically in every region speaking recently, and I plan to continue that. I do understand that name ID is going to be a little bit of a challenge. But, I know how to get that done. I know how to raise the money to put my name out there and help people understand who I am. We have a lot of different ways to do that now, everything from TV to digital media to mail to text messages and all that kind of stuff. So, we're going to be working really, really hard. My days are going to be jam-packed. They've already been, and I've only been in the race for, less than 48 hours at this point. So, or I guess you adequately pointed out it was exactly 24 hours and 20 minutes.
Yep.
Whenever I jumped on here. So look, it's a lot of work, but it doesn't scare me because I know how to get it done.
I'm just fired up that I get to let Moon know direct mail is going to be a part of the campaign.
He's going to be so excited to get mail from me. He loves getting all that mail. Yeah, Moon Griffon is one of my constituents in my legislative district, and every single time he gets a piece of mail, he calls me about it. So,
for those that don't know, Moon has a nickname for everybody, and Julie's his junk mail Julie. So,
which is funny because in a normal year, he might get like one piece of mail. In an election year, he might get 3. But, Moon loves to pick on me, so it's all right.
Well, and he's reading the bullet points right off that mailer as he's calling it junk. So she is Julie Emerson, heads up Ways and Means right now, making her way around the state as she's running for U.S. Senate. Julie, we always appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian.
Always. Talk to you soon. We got a quick break. Come back. Let's talk about this race from a broader perspective next. I forget how impressive she is. Golly. 27 when she was elected to the State House.
It's impressive, man.
Yeah.
Featured for sure, right?
Yeah. By the way, that might be the first interview in the Senate race where no one has mentioned the name Donald Trump. She touted conservative principles for 13 minutes without saying, I'm trying to kiss Donald Trump's ass more than everybody else.
I didn't even think about that when she was speaking.
Me neither.
Yeah,
not,
right.
not until afterwards did I realize.
Yeah.
$7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Man, I forget from time to time how impressive she is. I'd to Julie Emerson for hopping on board. This is going to be a good race, y'all. This is going to be this U.S. Senate race. If you're still on Team Cassidy, awesome. If you're looking at somebody new, we've heard from a number of different people so far. Kathy Seiden's been great. Julie was just great right there. State Senator Blake Miguez is in this bad boy as well. And you got, John Fleming ran for treasurer just so he could run for Senate. Like that, there's a stack of people in this race. And as a conservative in Louisiana, one can only hope that this raises the level of conversation. This raises the level of debate. That as a conservative, we're going to get more than just platitudes here. This is going to take a lot more than I support Donald Trump, so vote for me. By the way, did you notice? I don't think she mentioned Donald Trump's name in that interview. That might be the first. JP, did you hear her say it?
No, I don't believe so. That's what we were talking about that.
I know, but
not realized it till after the fact.
Yeah, but he is going to be, a pivotal piece of this race. But at the same time, though, I want my U.S. senator to outlast my U.S. president. So I like it, and I'm not. This is not bad mouthing anybody else in the race, to be sure, and this is not. I'm not endorsing anybody in this race either. But like, conservative principles need to rule the day more than just who you're aligned with. It's what you believe in more than who you're aligned with, or at least it ought to be. Meanwhile, you heard the story in our news at the bottom of the hour. It might have been last hour. Talk about this. Our news partners, the Louisiana Radio Network, talk with ULM political science professor Pearson Cross. The number of challengers that is mounting against Bill Cassidy are you going to be cannibalizing your vote, making the Republican runoff Bill Cassidy versus fill in the blank?
The real question is going to be who's going to join Cassidy in that runoff. Very likely Cassidy will make the runoff given his war chest of over $10 million and his long-time service in the office.
Cross continues. He says usually entering the race at this relatively late stage might work against Julie Emerson and her ability to raise enough money. But the late start it's not as detrimental now as it used to be.
Money in terms of TV ads, which is where most of that money goes, has become less important, as we've seen in recent years, with people who were at a disadvantage fundraising getting the lock on social media and other media.
Which, given her age, given her energy, given, she will put in the legwork. So, yeah, I think she can make that up in no time. Cross says, this is continuing with Pearson Cross from ULM. He says, since Emerson has entered the race, there's one name that we will likely not see on the Senate ballot.
Most people thought that Julie Emerson was waiting to get a nod one way or the other from Julia Letlow, that Letlow had, with Landry's backing, first dibs on this race if she wanted to get in.
I don't know all the behind the scenes there. I do know, and we'll talk with Julia Letlow about this tomorrow a little bit. But where Julia Letlow has ascended on the House side, there's no reason for her to bail on that seniority, no reason to bail on appropriations. Louisiana outpunches its weight class on Capitol Hill, and Julia Letlow's a big part of that. So, I don't know. Personally, I'm not in Julia Letlow's district, but I'm glad she is where she is. So that'll be up on talk1073.com, available on demand at talk1073.com, courtesy of Lake Urgent Care once the show is over with today. We got ABC News bearing down on us. We'll have hour 3 coming up in just a little bit. Before we get you to ABC News, got to remind you, Talk 1073 is your new home for Ken Trahan's original prep football report. Get live in-game updates, a full statewide scoreboard, and check-ins with correspondents from every corner of the state. Friday nights, all fall, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. is Ken Trahan's Original, presented by Dr. Pepper and the Harold Perkins Jr. Tuition Program. Oh. Yeah, when I was in between my stints on Talk 1073, me and Scott McKay from the Hayride hosted a podcast together, and Julie used to come on the podcast. This was like 2015, so it was like right around the time she was elected. And she just come over and hang out with us, and like just talk about every issue under the sun. Oh, wow. Like the long form Julie Emerson is better than the soundbite Julie Emerson, and the soundbite Julie Emerson is pretty freaking strong. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to I want debates so bad. I want there to be like multiple Republican debates so bad.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Because between Julie and Blake, the level of conversation is just going to get raised through the roof. And
would you do it here?
Oh God, yeah. Well, I mean, we got to find a way to put 6 microphones in here, but sure.
Yeah, something. Have them on the phone.
No, I'd want. Well, we could figure something out to where we could build out a satellite studio for it just for this.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause that's huge, man.
shit. So tired. What's going on over on Facebook? Anything fun happening there? Anybody misbehaving? Ooh. Julie may be within a sweet spot on the race. Conservative principles without vitriol, appealing to independents and no parties. I could see that, Troy. I could definitely see that. She did mention Trump, but it was subtle. Okay. Debbie says I'd vote for her just for her work eliminating fraud. Yeah. Oh, shit. Let's go. Oh. Oh. .806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Brian here with you, JP producing, broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio in downtown Baton Rouge, where it is 61 degrees outside. And I did step outside, by the way, and yeah, that fog is out there. It's not like pea soup thick, but it's out there. So we'll keep an eye on it as the morning wears on. A lot to get through this hour. We got State Representative Paula Davis joining us in our next segment. Looking forward to that conversation. We'll talk a little bit about the special session going on right now, but I kind of want a bigger picture view as well, as far as not just what they're doing, but where we're headed. So looking forward to that conversation with Paula Davis. Also this hour, Congressman Troy Carter, a little D.C. Current presented by LABI. Congressman Carter joins us every Tuesday. It's not like he's got anything else going on because the government's shut down, right? That's part of the conversation today. What does the government shutdown actually mean? Because he's out there battling to here we go. Press releases from Congressman Carter's office over the last since the last time he was on last week, right? Congressman Carter, Moskowitz introduced bill to maintain FEMA assistance during federal shutdown. Congressman Carter, Ezell send letter to House leadership urging reauthorization of the NFIP. Congressman Carter's statement on, this is about the ongoing shutdown itself. But what I'm curious about is you're sending a letter to House leadership. That's awesome. You are introducing a bill. That's awesome. If the House isn't there, who's voting on your bill? We're going to talk about that. What does the shutdown actually mean, and how can anything get amended, changed, tweaked along the way? We'll talk with Congressman Carter coming up 8:35. Right now, though, this day in history.
All right. Of course, brought to you by 5 Star Printing.
Yeah, 5 Star Printing and Signs. Bringing you this day in history every day. Bringing you the show every day, really. Danny and his team over at 5 Star Printing and Signs. Give them a call at 271-4096. 271-4096. If your business card doesn't thump, doesn't smack, I don't know what the kids say. They say it smacks?
Sure.
All right. If your printed
That
materials.
slaps. That's what it is.
Slaps. Slaps is the word. If your printed material does not grab someone else's attention, it's time to review your printed material. Do a little collab with Danny over there at 5 Star Printing and Signs, 271-4096. Not just your business card. Take a look at your brochures. Look, we just talked with Julie Emerson, who's running for U.S. Senate. She's going to have to go through all this. She's going to have to go through all this when it comes to direct mail, door hangers, the like. 5 Star Printing and Signs. Make sure you are standing out. You are not out of sight, out of mind. You are in sight. 271-4096 or printshop5.com. What you got, JP?
Well, 1886, the Statue of Liberty is dedicated by President Grover Cleveland and is celebrated with the first confetti parade in New York City.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. And then for its 50th anniversary, 1936, Franklin D. Roosevelt rededicates it.
Oh?
So, cool stuff there. 1954, the Nobel Prize in Literature is awarded to Ernest Hemingway.
Oh, good for him.
So that's good stuff. Hey, speaking of poets, today in 1994, Mariah Carey releases her album Merry Christmas, featuring a ton of holiday songs, including the best-selling single, All I Want for Christmas Is You. Question.
Yeah.
Is it too early to listen to Christmas music?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Says me, who've been listening for like 3 months now.
No.
Come on.
After Thanksgiving.
What?
After Thanksgiving.
Well, okay.
These things are sequential, JP.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are you putting the Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving?
No.
Man.
Give Thanksgiving its due, sir.
Well, no, I will. It's just that the tree will be lit.
No.
while we're eating Thanksgiving.
Not at all.
Dinner. Oh, man. Too early for Christmas music, huh?
Yeah. This day in 1965, the Gateway Arch was completed in St. Louis.
Okay, I guess we could talk about that.
That was it. I talked about it. That was all.
Okay.
Oh,
man. Hey,
I don't know. Why the hurry? Why the hurry to get to Christmas so fast? Why?
Love Christmas.
I know. So
I love Thanksgiving, too.
I love Advent more than I love Christmas. But why the hurry to get there?
That's right.
Like, let's get to we have a sequence here. We are going to take our kids out and get them gorged on candy this weekend, right?
For sure.
Friday night's just going to be Friday night's going to be lit.
Yeah.
Right? And then
that's what the kids say.
Yeah.
Lit.
And then after Halloween, we need Thanksgiving. You have to have Thanksgiving. You should give thanks.
Oh, no, for
sure.
sure.
All that you have.
Just with your Christmas tree up.
It shouldn't take a back seat because it's time to start with Christmas.
Favorite Christmas movie?
I'm going to say Die Hard just to start the controversy again.
There
just
we
because
go.
every year you got to have the controversy, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
1995, Coolio released Gangsta's Paradise today, Brian. Big hip-hop.
Really?
Hip-hop fan, yeah, man.
All right. That means Dangerous Minds starring Michelle Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer. Yeah.
Probably came out around this time,
There
too.
you go. Yeah. Let's see. 2020, Hurricane Zeta makes landfall
Oh.
I know.
Yeah.
Near Cocodrie.
Remember when we ran out of letters?
Oh, man.
Ran out of
Wow.
names, ran out of Greek letters.
Mark Zuckerberg announces Facebook will change its corporate name to Meta amid increased public scrutiny over leaked internal documents this day in 2021. And in
Good for him.
2022, a hammer-wielding intruder attacks Paul Pelosi.
Oh, yeah.
82-year-old husband of House Speaker, of course, Nancy Pelosi, at their California home.
We got any follow-up on that?
Oof.
Hey, this day in 1999, Harris Casino was completed at the foot of Canal Street down in New Orleans. Now
Wow,
Caesars,
99,
but yeah,
okay.
1999.
Yeah.
It's got some pictures of New Orleans before the casino was there. It's so different.
It's got to be, right?
Yes.
Man. Oof. Birthdays?
Oh, yes.
Stacked, right?
Yes, have some.
We got Bill Gates. Man, we got Joaquin Phoenix, Julia Roberts today. Let's see. Who else? Brad Paisley as well today in the music front.
Okay.
And Charlie Daniels as well. What about on your end?
Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, really?
And you had Brad Paisley. Did you have Frank Ocean?
Oh, I didn't see Frank Ocean.
I had Frank Ocean in that list as well. Did you have Jonas Salk?
Oh, I did.
Jonas Salk on the list to be sure. And that was it. John Locke.
Oh, yeah.
English philosopher John Locke.
John Locke I saw there as well. As far as deaths go, I got Jerry Lee Lewis here.
Yep.
And Matthew Perry.
Oh, wait. Hang on. I almost forgot NYPD Blue. Dennis Franz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was on the birthday list as well. For the death side, I got Red Auerbach, longtime basketball coach. And who did you have?
I had two. I had Jerry Lee Lewis and Matthew Perry.
Okay. Oh man, Matthew Perry was today.
Man, today 2023, 2 years already. Wow.
Sad. What national days have you got?
Well, I've got National Chocolate Day.
Okay. Well, I just threw mine away. I don't know why I did that. I crumpled it up and threw it away before even looking at it.
You're like, forget it.
Yeah.
Okay. What day it is?
We'll roll with National Chocolate Day.
Go with that.
As we count it down to All Hallows Eve.
Yep.
That's your look at this day in history. Quick break. When we come back, State Representative Paula Davis is going to hop on with us next. Jeb makes a good point here. I'm not changing my mind, Jeb, but you do make a good point. Because it takes a month to decorate for Christmas. So if you start December 1st, you won't be finished by the time Christmas comes around. So you got to start pulling the Christmas decorations down at the beginning of November. Takes me 2 days to decorate for Christmas. Once on the inside, once on the outside. So. You grab the hotline?
Studio? Hi, good morning. Yes, ma'am. How you doing? I'm doing well. JP. Yep. Why?
What happened?
Listen. Wait. When was your birthday? Oh, okay. Oh. This is Miss Paula. I'm going to tell you a secret. I really haven't been listening to Christmas music. I just want to stir up a little something, something. Yes, of course. Yeah, just a little bit. That's what I like to do a little bit. Just stir up the pot. Yeah, there you go. All right. Yes, ma'am. We're going to have you up here shortly.
817 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Get a preview of the 2025-2026 LSU women's basketball team as Coach Kim Mulkey and the Tigers host Langston University in an exhibition game Thursday. Coverage begins with pregame at 6:30. Tip-off is at 7. Your home for LSU women's basketball is Talk 107.3 FM. Last week, LSU women's basketball hosted Mississippi College in an exhibition game, and they won 148-46. They won by 102 points. So it's just so ridiculous.
That's terrible.
All right. Great things are expected from Kim Mulkey this year. All right, joining us now, we've got State Representative Paula Davis as the special session continues over at our state capitol. Representative Davis, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I am doing well, just listening to a little bit of Christmas music, enjoying my coffee. No, I'm joking. I'm totally joking.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so let's
told
start.
JP, no Christmas music until after Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
I'm with Brian on this one.
Thank you. We need
Yes.
to respect all of the holidays equally.
Thank you.
And give thanks
Thank
for
you.
what we have on Thanksgiving, not
Exactly.
have it as a just a placeholder while we
Yes.
look at a Christmas tree.
Yes, exactly.
All
Now,
right.
I do have Christmas lights in my backyard, but they're beautiful.
Well, are they Christmas lights or are they just decorative?
There are Christmas lights. We could get the guy that came to put them up for us was available. A friend of ours was available to do it for us, and he said, "Oh, I can do it in September." We said, "Okay, that's fine, but it's not obnoxious. It's just a few trees."
Okay,
and it's a pretty white light, so
Okay.
you can even keep those up all year.
That's what I was asking. Is it like a year-round type of thing?
I could keep them up all year, and no one would question it.
Okay.
Well, maybe someone would, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway.
All right. What's going on over at the state capitol right now? Is this as well behaved as it's seeming?
It is. I think because it's well behaved in my view. I mean, of course, there's a lot of back and forth between the Democrats and Republicans on whether or not this session is premature. And you'll see, I think, some more of that this morning for your listeners. House Senate Bills 1 and 2, which are the bills that would push back the dates of the primary election and also the constitutional amendments to May. Those are going to be in committee at 9 o'clock this morning in House and Government Affairs. So anyone that's interested can go and listen to those debates this morning because we are running with those Senate bills. And hopefully we will be done with session tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow, I think by latest Thursday. And so I expect that those bills will get out. I'm expecting a party line vote as well as in the House a party line vote.
Well, but this literally the only two bills that have been brought up, correct?
Yeah, correct. And Edmund Jordan, representative from here in Baton Rouge, does have a bill regarding a website about the congressional elections, and Mike Baham has a couple of just tweaks to some semantics. But other than that, no, those are the two primary bills, SB 1 and SB 2. There are companion bills in the House, but we're running with the Senate bills.
Okay. We're talking with State Representative Paula Davis. Is it unusual to see a call this tight? There's literally, like we said, there's a bill to move an election and a bill to pay for the election that's being moved. I don't know that I've seen a call that tight before. I said this to someone recently. I've been around the Capitol for almost 30 years now, but elected for 10, and I've been through many special sessions. You're right. I have not ever seen a call this tight. So the governor did keep it really tight, and I'm sure talked to House leadership and Senate leadership and said, look, let's keep it to a couple of bills and get this done, get it over with, and go ahead and move the dates in the event that the Supreme Court does come back this year before the anticipated, what they usually do is in June. There is some speculation that they may come back by the end of the year with a ruling, and then that way we are set. If they do strike down the maps, then we can come back in January, hold a special session, draw new maps, and that would give Secretary of State Nancy Landry enough time to put those initiatives forward on the ballot. We're talking with State Representative Paula Davis. Representative Davis, it's occurring to me, we haven't spoken since the end of the regular legislative session. I never got your recap of the work you got done.
Don't make me think back that
I know, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, we were talking about this last night. We have done a lot of great things in the state, and I think that we need to do more to highlight all the good that is happening. I heard you earlier talking about the U.S. Senate race and, of course, these congressional races. And one thing that I think of is that we need to be a little more positive, not only in our election system, but also in touting the good things that we do, because you turn on the news now and it's, so many things going on in the world and in the country that are bad, but we like hearing about the good news and knowing how our state is moving forward. So I think that's important, not only to tout our successes, but also to anticipate what's coming up and, how we can help the public better understand, for example, the new closed primary system, the congressional races, the U.S. Senate race, what's happening next spring and all of that, how those changes are affecting Republicans, Democrats, no-party voters, libertarians. I've had several libertarians reach out to me wondering what's going on, how am I going to be able to vote. So it's been very interesting. So I think that for us, we need to keep a positive message going about our state, but we also need to focus really heavily on educating our voters on what's happening with the changes coming forward.
Internally that's important right now, but as we get into 2026, I think there's going to be a learning curve, and I don't know that everybody's going to be at that curve.
No, 100%, and
regardless
that's why
of the efforts.
It's going to take all hands on deck, which, you guys do a great job at informing the public of what's going on, and we've got to do a good job of informing our constituents about what's going on, because there is a lot of confusion out there. I was at a campaign event this fall, and I had a couple of libertarians there, and they said, what's going on? How am I going to vote? How am I going to get a name on a ballot? I've got to go through the petition system. There's just a lot of confusion right now, but, so it's going to take a lot of effort on our part, again, to educate our constituents on what's happening.
Yeah, and
there are lots of changes. And, we've had this change before, and it reverted back to the jungle primary system, and now we're back. And it's not for everyone. It's meaning the closed primary system is for congressional races, for U.S. Senate, for PSC. It's not for statewide elected officials. It's not for state legislators,
right.
For local offices. So I think there is a lot of confusion out there, but I think that can be cleared up as long as there is a concerted effort to educate.
Well, and I've got this weird feeling in the back of my head that someone somewhere is going to mistake primaries for the actual election.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Of course.
We're going to go through the primary and then the runoff, and then come November, they're going to be like, well, didn't I already do that?
Right, exactly. And then also for those people that are in the no party category, in the primary, they've got to make a choice whether they're going to vote Republican or Democrat, and they've got to stick with that choice throughout the cycle. So you can't go back and forth. So there's going to be a lot of change. And I did not, full disclosure, and this is public record, I did not vote for the closed primary system. My voters overwhelmingly supported the open primary system. So it's still educating my constituents on that new change. And then especially those no party voters, because more and more people, I think, are starting to switch to no party.
I'm as a lifelong Republican, Paula, I'm really considering moving in that direction.
Yeah, I have heard that more and more since we've changed this system. And people kind of whisper it to me, hey, I'm no party. It doesn't matter to me if you're Republican, Democrat, no party, Libertarian. It doesn't matter. But I think, and I have people in my family that have switched to, they were independents and now are no party. So it's curious to see also if some of the no party are going to switch to Republican, Democrat. There's just so much change going on. But again, I think it's just all in educating our public.
We got State Representative Paula Davis on with us. Okay, so if not looking back on the last session, I kind of want to start to lean in on what's to come, especially with your role on commerce, is that we're going to see a lot of pivoting on the economic development front, moving towards ports, moving towards carbon capture, moving towards big projects. What are you already gearing up for next year?
A little bit. There are meetings happening, as always, not only with, LED and other agencies. People sort of right now start putting their wish list together, I guess. And not only that, but I'm hearing from constituents about constituent issues and their concerns. So usually in the fall, it gets a little quiet. And I think right now this session is really overshadowing everything that I'm hearing, especially from my constituents, because they're wondering, what the heck are y'all doing down there? Honestly. So right now is, I guess it's a sit and learn, and hearing from constituents and hearing what they want to do. and hearing what companies want to do. So there's those meetings going on, and it's not necessarily in committees or as a group as a whole, but, individual meetings with companies that are coming in. I met with Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple recently about meetings he's having with insurance companies and ideas that he has for making the state more competitive. So just all around, this is kind of our time to sit and listen and learn. Listening is a very important part of being a legislator. We don't always have the answers, but we need to listen to different solutions.
Well,
and what others
good, sir.
That's working.
The other part of that, State Representative Paula Davis is our guest. The other part of that is often overlooked in the part-time job that is being a state legislator is the number of hours that go in right about now. Is the number of hours where you are listening. So what are you hearing as you listen?
Yeah. Well, and it's mostly the same things that we've been hearing over the past several years, and for me, over the past 20-something years as I've been in insurance, and it's insurance rates. I hear that every day from constituents, not only in commercial rates, but in your personal auto rates and homeowners rates. Knock on wood, we have not had a tropical depression, tropical storm, or hurricane this season. Commissioner Temple and I were talking about that the last couple of days. So mostly insurance rates, and then, of course, people are very interested in education, of course, and funding the Gator program. That's going to be a big issue, I think, for my constituents at least. And then, of course, infrastructure. That's always a big hot topic in Baton Rouge. And where are we on the bridge? Where is the location of the bridge? When is that going to come out? And then, of course, in Baton Rouge right now, I'm hearing all about Coach Kelly and the firing of Coach Kelly. And so
how would your office have a role in that? Like, is it just makes it back to you via scuttlebutt, or is somebody actually asking for something here?
No, it's just scuttlebutt. But Brian, you would be, I think, amazed, and this will come as no surprise to my colleagues that are possibly listening. We get calls about everything from cleaning out the ditches to the firing of Coach Kelly. We get it all. So that's been a hot topic over the last couple of days. And, I think that I agree we need a championship coach to get the job done. We are an SEC school. We're LSU. We're the flagship university. At the same time, we're looking for a new president of LSU.
Yep.
And we need a championship president to lead LSU because, of course, we are being, in my opinion, having a daughter who went to Auburn, as you know, and as our listeners know. We need our flagship university elevated just like Auburn has been elevated, Georgia's been elevated. We're losing students to University of Arkansas, University of Alabama. That's been going on for years. So we need an LSU president that is going to lead this flagship university and be able to compete with other SEC schools such as, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina. Even Clemson, and I know Clemson's not an SEC school, but we have lots of students now looking at Clemson, just great research program, and LSU is a research university. So we need a new president that's going to lead us and to, allow us to compete. We've been saying that for years. Alabama has been, kicking our butts in recruiting our students, and now it's the University of Arkansas.
Right. Paula, I just went through this. I mean, you're talking to somebody whose daughter is a freshman at Southern Miss right now.
Oh,
Eagles to the top, by the way. I mean, it's like the amount of mail we got from Arkansas, the amount of mail we got from Alabama, the phone calls we got. Where you know where Carrie ended up going? She went where they wanted her. Like that's, when we talk about championships, yeah, we could talk about on the football field for sure, but I mean across the board for the university.
Oh, 100%. We do not need Sunbelt Billy as president of LSU. We do not need Sunbelt Billy as the new head coach of LSU. So I think our listeners will understand that. But again, we've got to continue to elevate LSU and make it one of the top schools in not only SEC, but in the country. And I think that can be done with the right person, steering the ship.
Last one before we get you out of here, and it's about the federal government shutdown. Will the state have any role in plugging gaps along the way as this thing moves into another month?
Yes. So we just passed a resolution, I think it was on Friday, to urge and request the Department of Health to come up with funds to provide for SNAP benefits. Because, the Commissioner of Secretary of Health came out with a statement saying that funds will be cut off November 1st. And so we came up with a resolution, and I think the governor issued an executive order urging that department to find the funds to continue those benefits at least through November. So we're hoping and praying, I know I am, that the Republicans and Democrats in Congress act like adults and pass this CR, get the government running, and then we can focus on the other issues as we need. But, we did pass a resolution. We're on it. Representative Jack McFarland, who's chair of appropriations, did a yeoman's job shepherding that resolution through the House. So we were excited to pass that, and hopefully we'll have some information for y'all soon for those listeners who may be affected, that those benefits will continue at least through November.
She is State Representative Paula Davis. We always appreciate the time.
Thank you, Brian. I
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Go get your Christmas music running. We'll talk to you soon.
November, 28th.
Yes.
Bye.
Talk soon later. We blew right past ABC News. I don't care. Here's local news, traffic, weather. Congressman Carter is up next. What'd you say, Rich? Just got off the phone with Paula Davis. Couldn't be better. State rep. Middle of town. Congressman Carter?
Yeah, he's the one who didn't want Charlie Kirk. You remember, he's the one who said when they wanted to do something. You must be Charlie Kirk, the state
Yeah.
moment, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I ain't being a part of that.
Yeah, up at the nation's capital. Yeah, that's well.
Landry needs to go down to Loyola. That's why he went to university. Go shoot a video down at Loyola. Who yesterday decided they want to allow the Student Government Association to have attorney.
Well, you know why? Because every time
They're the Jesuits. It ain't them, my parents' Jesuits.
What,
Think about that.
No, it's because every time they try to do something over there, Tulane freaking rolls in with all their green-haired students. It's like
You can't be
if
that
you're
critical and judgmental of people, Brian. That's not going to get you anywhere in life. I'm gonna tell you.
no, because you got the market cornered.
Oh, dude, wait, hey, can I tell you one thing?
What?
It's the funniest thing in the world. So, I get he's got to play.
Yeah.
So yesterday, he does.
Mic back on. So, like right at the blocks. Yeah, I don't. Obviously, we'll talk about the shutdown, but it's got to be through specific lenses. FEMA and NFIP probably gonna take the lead for us. That's what was the third thing I'm supposed to talk with him about? I had a talking point that I knew I wanted to cover, and now I don't remember what it was. Oh, Second Harvest Food Bank. .839 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We ran a little long in our last segment, kind of pushed everything back. So let's waste no time. It's time for this. No, it's time for DC Current. Joining us now, as he does every Tuesday, Congressman Troy Carter is on with us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well as well. Before we get anything else, are you home or are you in D.C.?
I'm in D.C., sir.
Okay. The weather back here is starting to feel like fall. There's not many chances where in South Louisiana I can make you jealous up in the capital, but you know how it is when it rolls into fall in New Orleans and South Louisiana. That's happening tonight into tomorrow. So I'm just letting you know, if there were, if the window were to open for you to make your way back down to visit the district for a little bit, it's windows down weather.
Man, I love it. I love it. Well, it's windows up weather here now. I'm looking out as I get ready to walk into the Capitol. I see people with overcoats. So it's supposed to get really cold tonight. So.
Really? All right. We got a lot of business to tend to this morning. Obviously, the shutdown moving into day 28, moving into another week after tonight into tomorrow. Is there any break in this at all?
Unfortunately, there isn't. But I remain hopeful. Listen, the American people are hurting, and it's time for us to get back to the table to do what deliberative bodies do, and that is to deliberate, debate, discuss, compromise, negotiate. Listen, neither side can claim victory nor defeat as long as the American people are hurting. And we need to be working in tandem to get to a point where we're covering those issues that are most important to the American people and get our country going again. You know, as I flew to D.C. yesterday, and I walked through the airport, and you look at the horrendous lines and the TSA workers who are working without pay. They share with me that they're not able to take their regular breaks, many of which have been called back to work from vacation. This is just not good, man. Not to mention all of the literally millions of citizens throughout the country who can't access the very basic functions of their government.
And that's going to come to a head this weekend. I mean, we would roll over from October into November. things are going to get very real very fast for a lot of families. Is it going to take that to get the ball rolling again?
I hope not. I mean, listen, I was hopeful, as you know, that we wouldn't have shut down at all. I was hopeful that we would reopen rapidly. Now we're on our way to breaking another record. Last time there was a shutdown in Trump's first administration, it was 34 days. Cost the American taxpayers $11 billion. You know what we can do with $11 billion to fix issues that plague our state, our country? It goes a long way. So this strategy of government shutdown has never worked. It has been a failed strategy every single time. And listen, I'm hopeful that we can come together in a bipartisan way to shut this shutdown down, reopen government, provide resources to the people.
What we could do with $11 billion, we can buy out the contracts of 203 football coaches. I'm sorry.
Hey, man, how'd you like to make $800,000 a month?
Hey, how about this? TSA's working without pay. Brian Kelly's getting paid without work. How about that?
Hey, how messed up is that system? Absolutely right.
Oh,
hey, listen,
unreal.
but you know what?
What?
Not a bad hand if you can get it.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail it like that, Congressman. It just that was
a worthy departure.
I appreciate it. I got questions about a couple of things you have been working on. And this is I'm asking from a sheer position of ignorance. Okay, you and Congressman Moskowitz from Florida put together a bill to maintain FEMA assistance during the federal shutdown. Put together a bill for who? How do you and I'm legitimately asking, like, basic Schoolhouse Rock stuff. Like, who are you proposing this bill to if nobody's there?
Well, we have to still draft it, right? We have to draft it. We have to get it in the hopper. So whenever we come back in session, it has its place in line.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, assuming that we come back, we don't have to not be in session just because the government is shut down. Congress can still meet. This is not a function of government being shut down that Congress can't be in session. There are other things that we could be doing. So the notion of having legislation prepared for a hearing is very much a part of the function of what we do and what we should do.
Okay.
And also building against the future to make sure for not only this shutdown, but any future shutdowns, that we never have a situation where FEMA and the functions of emergency management are held in abeyance, particularly in the midst of hurricane season. What would happen now if we had a catastrophic incident? We'd be in a really bad place. So this is a practical matter that deserves hearing and passage whenever we get back in session.
No, absolutely, and like I said, I asked the question out of just sheer
No.
I don't know
It's a very
function.
legitimate question, and sometimes we can be accused of assuming people know every bit of the nuances in Congress. So I appreciate when we have the opportunity to kind of make it very clear. So thanks for the question.
Well, I mean, I made an A in civics, so I know a little bit, but like when y'all aren't there, like this wasn't part of civics class, to be sure.
Right. I don't think government shutdowns were contemplated.
Well, we got Congressman Troy Carter on with us. So walk me through what it is that you and Congressman Moskowitz want to propose when it comes to FEMA. Is just kind of it bypass this, or it be granted some exemption in times like this?
Well, what it would do is it would say that FEMA and the functions of the Emergency Management Agency would not be subject to shutdown provisions, nor would the resources of FEMA be denied because of a shutdown. Much like air traffic controllers or TSA workers, they still have to show up. Much like Social Security checks, they may be slowed because of workforce shortages, but they still have to be processed. So there are functions of government that continue to function even in a shutdown. FEMA would be added to that list of ones that shall not have any disruption in its workforce or its distribution of resources.
We get Congressman Troy Carter on with us. This is DC Current, presented by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. On that same note, you had sent a letter last week talking about the National Flood Insurance Program. Have you got any follow-up on that?
We haven't got any follow-up yet, but we're hopeful that at least we're making things move, because here again, another example of things that we can be doing even in the midst of a shutdown. Myself and my good friend from Mississippi, Mike Ezel, put together a bipartisan solution to what we saw becoming a problem. In April, we drafted and had legislation advanced to extend the National Flood Insurance Program, to make sure its expiration would not happen. This week, we sent a letter to the leaders of Congress, reminding them and respectfully asking that we're called back into session so we can rapidly deal with the flood insurance program expiration. Remember, when you have the flood insurance is shut down,
right,
it brings a screeching halt to the mortgage business,
yes,
to our real estate sales, because no bank or no lending institution is going to loan you money on a property if you are unable to obtain flood insurance. So there's tons of closings out there that are just suspended in midair. They can't close.
Right.
The people that have insurance, they're fine. People that have a renewal, they're out of luck. People that are attempting to buy a new home, they're out of luck. Real estate development deals, out of luck. Programs that are going on with that require flood insurance in flood zones, out of luck. That's a real problem, and it's one that we're approaching from a bipartisan standpoint. Myself and Mike Ezel, Republican from Mississippi, and we've done a number of, as we refer to them, as common sense pieces of legislation to advance issues even amongst the sharp divide that sometimes happens with the parties.
How much is going on off the record up there? I mean, I'm not going to ask for details about conversations, but clearly you talk with your colleagues, right? I mean, even if it's just to say hi, is there any kind of just not like official talks, but like chit chat?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of it. There's a whole lot, and at the risk of outing any of my friends, listen, we love America, and we hate to see what's happening. And I think both sides of the aisle feel that way. Some of us are more vocal than others. Like, take, for example, half the damn White House has been torn down. Come on, man. In Louisiana, you can't change a shutter or change the color of your house in the historic neighborhoods. But half the White House is torn down.
But that's a separate project altogether that's privately funded, though. That's not...
No. It has nothing to do with where the money is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about the historic fabric of this most historic property, the most iconic historic property in our country, maybe in our world. The White House should not be just torn down.
But being torn down in its position to be rebuilt, though. He's not the first president to make additions to the White House.
He's the first president to tear it down without permission. He's the first president to take a wrecking ball to the east wing of the White House. And have you seen it? I've seen it. You may have seen it on the news.
I've seen the pictures,
It's apocalyptic. It looks apocalyptic. It looks absolutely like something out of a Will Smith movie.
But it also looks like a construction site. It's on its way to being something better, isn't it?
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
It's not like he can take it with him when he goes, right? It's going to be there for...
It's about the disruption of our historic fabric. Forget it. It's not about money. It's about the destruction. It's not about an addition that goes through the proper channels of making sure that it's architecturally sound, that the historians are cataloging the demolition and the rebuild. This was a unilateral wrecking ball with zero oversight or permission from the National Society of Historic Buildings. None of the historians, nor those who are the keepers of the architecture of our country, had anything to do with it. Come on now, brother, this is not Republican or Democrat. This is preservation of the lack thereof at its highest level. This is literally tearing down our democracy.
Congressman, I get where you're at on that. It's not a permanent tear down, though. I don't know. It's hey,
wait a minute.
Before we get,
It's not a permanent tear down. No, fabric is gone. That history is in landmines. It is torn apart. The dirt is being used to infill golf courses. You can't get that back. You can't tear down half of the Capitol and say, "Oh, but we're going to put it back." Well, then it won't be the same. That's a new building. That history is gone forever.
but that part of the building's only been there since the 40s, right?
Listen. You weren't here in the 40s.
No, I
wasn't
not
here in the 40s.
No, neither were you. Neither one of us are that old.
So guess what?
What?
We should respect history of the 40s.
That's
And we should respect the fact that even if you go and just say the 40s, 100 years of history, nearly 100 years of history of first ladies, of historic meetings with heads of state in our country.
That's what he's building. 100 years from now, that's what this conversation is going to be.
Yes, and that'll be new history that should be protected as well.
That's
Can you honestly, my friend?
Yeah.
And I love our spirited debates. And clearly, you're not as much of a preservationist as some. But if you ask your viewers, your listeners, and you take an informal poll and just ask them, what do you think about? Forget about it being Donald Trump. Let it be Barack Obama, Joe Biden, or somebody else. Do you think if Barack Obama or Joe Biden had torn down half the White House, there would be the same? There'd be more uproar, or the same, or none?
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm going to completely derail this on you because my biggest concern is when you look at Trump Tower in New York, that it's going to come out gaudy. Like I appreciate the idea of wanting to hold a place for state dinners, wanting to hold a place to entertain heads of state from around the world. I appreciate that end of it. It's just I don't have that same '80s taste over here.
Yeah, but see, I'm not opposed to a place where you can have state dinners on campus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not opposed to having the space itself. I am purely talking about the historic nature of the White House being torn down without, now underscore, italicized, bold, without any architectural review from the historians who maintain the architecture of a nation's capital. Listen, I can't paint my office without having permission from the architectural review people. There was no process. There has to be a process. You couldn't tear down a building in Baton Rouge.
No, we are housed in the original Baton Rouge General Hospital, so I understand that. I do. The building I'm in is older than the East Wing, though, and Congressman, I'm sorry. I got 30 seconds here. We ran way long. While y'all are not at work, you are still doing work. Tell me about what you did with Second Harvest.
Yes, sir. So, we spent the day or several hours over at Second Harvesters packaging boxes of food for individuals to get for free, people that are having a hard time, some of which are federal employees who are missing checks. The mortgage doesn't stop. Utility bills don't stop. You can't go into the grocery store and get a gallon of milk, dozen of eggs, and a loaf of bread on a promise that when government opens, you'll pay them. So people are still having to eat. They're still having to feed their children. So the incredible people at Second Harvesters who do an incredible job every single day to provide resources for people in Louisiana, I went and helped them box food items to give attention to the fact that they too are going to come under strain because the resources are being sought after by more people with the same amount of content, which means they're going to need help. And so it was great to see them. And let me tell you something else that was really powerful. Even though these federal workers are not being paid, there were federal workers there volunteering, helping themselves to demonstrate that they understand and they care about the humanity of our community, to offer their time while they are on furlough and not being paid. They gave their time further to assist in packaging these boxes. Second Harvester does a great job.
Yes,
they're going to run out of resources. So anyone listening, write them a check, get involved. it's a great opportunity to do something really good for people of all backgrounds, of all needs. It was a great day, great opportunity. Shout out to Second Harvesters.
He is Congressman Troy Carter. We do this every week. Hopefully next week, as the calendar rolls over to November, you will be back at work, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
That is my hope as well. God bless you. Have a fantastic week.
You too. That was fun. We ran super long. That was so good, though.
Golly. We're going to be hitting the freaking ID before we come back.
Are we going to?
God, it's going to be close. We got like...
I've never run that long before.
Yeah, that's... Wow. A 20-minute interview. God. Facebook's lit up. What, we got 9 comments I got. Yeah, you'd basically be coming on to be like, all right, see y'all tomorrow.
That's fine. That's fine. If we have to skip traffic, that's fine, too.
Yeah. You want to? You got a little over, yeah, it'd be like, you only got a little bit, about a minute and a half.
But see, for everybody who wants to comment something negative, like, it's shit like that I love more than anything. All right? And just like he said, he loves our spirited debates. Yeah. That the whole point of that segment was we were talking. And that's not what's happening in D.C. right now.
That's right.
Please tell me traffic's coming now. There's less than a minute to go.
I know. Yeah, it is. It's next. Do you want me to delete it?
Yeah, delete it. Delete it. Just come back.
Boom. Yeah,
Go ahead and turn my mic on. Put me hot. We're all done for the day, y'all. Ran long with the Congressman. We'll see you tomorrow.
That was the first, for me at least. It's like...
We got to get out of here, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. still up on Facebook. Let's go. Honestly, I said this when the East Wing got first thrown in. So FDR built the East Wing. Why did he build the East Wing? The East Wing was built to cover an underground nuclear fallout shelter. The East Wing is there solely to hide the bunker, right? That's why it was built. It wasn't built it wasn't built back by Thomas Jefferson or whomever, right? It was built to cover an underground bunker. That was its purpose. I believe the Situation Room's under there too, right? I could be wrong. Anyway. But no, FDR built the East Wing. The East Terrace was built in 1902. 1942 was when FDR built the East Wing. So, I don't hold the historic significance for it that Congressman Carter does. But I tend to take him. I take him at his word. I feel like he might have lit up a little bit just because I leaned back in.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the visual of it right now, considering everything else that's going on, the visual of it is a bad look for the president because perception is reality. Reality is it's privately funded. Reality is 100 years from now, Donald Trump doesn't take this building with him when he leaves. So it becomes the people's ballroom after he's gone. Like reality is, and I do worry about taste. Like I do worry that it's going to be gaudy as shit. Just because if you walk in the lobby of Trump Tower and look around, gold, I love gold. That is my only concern on that front. But while the government shut down, perception is reality. While the government shut down, people are not getting paid, and $300 million of private money is being dumped into this. So I get the perception look, and if the congressman wants to lean in on that because the visual plays in his favor right now, which it does, I get it. I do. But that was just too irresistible not to lean back in. It was just my point that as we were in the break, I will stick with this, okay? When Congressman and I go at it like that and have fun, to me that's fun. Because it's an exchange of ideas with two people who have their hearts in the right place. And I will always believe his heart is in the right place. Politically, probably not going to agree with him much. But I believe in my heart of hearts that his heart of hearts is where it belongs, is where it should be. So when we can lean in like that, I know the outcome is going to be a better America. That's hyperbole. But you get where I'm going, right? Is why have we lost the ability? Why has Congress and the Senate lost the ability to have the discussion that the congressman and I just had? To talk on that level and disagree on that level and duke it out mano a mano. Oh. Anyway. So Galen says, if Trump learned anything in his first term, it's not to ask permission for things he can get done. So when I was looking at the clock and realizing we had to get out of there, and I wanted to hit the second harvest thing because the congressman is doing good work in the downtime, right? But when I knew we had to get out of there, what I wanted to lean in was, he says, I can't paint my office without permission. I was going to say, don't get on me about undue bureaucracy, Congressman. You want to bitch about bureaucrats? I will bitch about bureaucrats all day long. Yeah. Let's go. Let's cut out all the red tape. So good. All right, guys, I got a blast. I'm sorry. That was a blast. I got to get out of here.